Welcome back to the WAC podcast, Kendrea, Sheehan, Eric Danner, and we have a wonderful guest joining us here in the office, Kyle Grooms, who is our new Associate Commissioner for Football and Sport Administration. Welcome. He comes to us from Tulsa, where he was the Associate Athletic Director of Operations and Internal Affairs for the last 3 seasons, and then the last 8 seasons, Director of Football Operations for the Golden Hurricane. So welcome. Super excited to have you
Thank
here.
you. This is awesome. How great is it to be here?
That's right.
This is really cool.
Well, so what drew you to this position?
Well, obviously, working with Brian and Patrick in the past, we worked closely together in another league, and just knowing their reputation, their vision for some things, and then the WAC has been a strong name. It's been something that I've known for a long time. I actually was a student athlete in the WAC, so I've had quite a few ties to this league, and just the opportunity to come back to the WAC and help change the landscape of our league from a football perspective was really enticing.
Kyle Grooms is our guest, and Kyle, you just were named last week, so welcome. Yeah. First of all, second of all, our office, the podcast studio, if you will, right now is in Denver, and this is a hometown for you. So tell us a little bit about your upbringing and what got you into athletics in the first place.
Oh yeah. So I grew up in this area. So this is home. This is really neat for me to kind of come back and experience things from the conference perspective. So growing up, I was the youngest of 3 kids, and I just got dragged to all my brother's sporting events. So I was always the bat boy or the ball kid on the sidelines for football. So I grew up surrounded by every sport imaginable, and I just became a sports junkie, and that's what I got into. And I played every sport imaginable, and then all throughout high school, and then landed up just being a football student athlete at the University of Tulsa. And it really kind of changed my career aspirations. I just always wanted to be in athletics and do some things that would impact college athletics specifically.
Now, you mentioned being a student athlete in the WAC, playing football at Tulsa, now in this sport administrator position. How do you use that experience of you were in these student athletes positions, so you know what worked, what you liked, what you didn't like? How are you hoping to use that into this new role that you're taking on at the WAC? Definitely.
I think little suited for this position because I was a student athlete in the WAC. I have some experience on the team perspective side of things, then the administrator perspective side. And then obviously working closely with Brian and Patrick previously, and working closely with the conference office as an administrator, have a good feel about what the conference landscape is. So I've seen it at every level now. And I think that provides some good value. And ultimately it's really doing what's best for our student athletes, and taking that approach and that perspective will really impact our game.
And not only having that background as a student athlete, but also as a director of football operations, as associate AD for operations and internal affairs. What did you learn during that process that's going to help you now in this position with the WAC?
Well, first of all, organization is really key in those roles. Just keeping all the moving pieces and parts together. But again, in both of those roles, keeping the student athletes at the forefront of really any decision that's made. What's really best for our student athletes is what's best for everybody.
We bring football back to the WAC. You're joining as this new position. Where do you hope to see the WAC grow in the next 5 years or so?
Certainly. I see the WAC as one of the premier mid-major conferences in the country. Certainly with the teams that we've brought in to fill the football slots that we have in the conference. It's some amazing teams, the teams that are already established as WAC members. Really we can position ourselves here in the WAC as the premier football conference at the FCS level.
As Kendrea mentioned, we just added football first season back in about 10 years this past fall. And already we're seeing some new members coming in with football. And as Kendra mentioned, we want to see this as you mentioned, one of the top FCS conferences in the country. What's it going to take? Obviously, Sam Houston won the spring in 21. What's it going to take to maintain that level of competition in the WAC?
I think a lot of the schools are continuing to do what they're doing. There's been significant commitment from the institutions to grow their games at their respective campuses. Continuing to do that. You look at the coaches in our league, the top notch. They're coming from great reputations, and then the student athletes in our league as well are tremendous competitors. And it's evidenced by what you see in and week out, and the next level at the NFL level is taking notice of those players. So it's a good league. It's good student athletes. It's good coaches, and it's an exciting time.
Well, Kyle, we're excited to have you on board. Kyle Grooms, our new Associate Commissioner for Football and Sport Administration. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back with more on the WAC podcast coming up next.